This is In the Black with T. Dallas Smith. Conversations with trailblazers, glass ceiling breakers, and champions for change who inspire and cultivate leaders every day.
Welcome back to my inspiring talk with Young Woo, the founder of Young Woo & Associates. We've been talking about his journey as a Korean immigrant who came to the States with a few $100s and unable to speak English, to building some of the most cutting-edge projects ever created in New York City. Now, Young Woo, we wrapped up the first part of our chat talking about some of the biggest projects you've worked on, including the legendary Sky Garage. But now I'd like to find out more about the $300 million development, Radio Hotel and Tower in Washington Heights.
Very good question. We feel very proud that we did that project. It's go back to many years before I decided to build that. When I went to Europe, I found Piazza is a fascinating place. It's usually center of the location and it's a park, but different things happen in different time. And seeing other people, engaging other people, and unexpected things that happening in Piazza gave us an idea. We should create Piazza in United States. So I called New Town Square. Same concept, different things can happen, but under the roof. So with that idea, we've been keep building this new town square. And I used to live nearby this site that where we built Radio Hotel, 6 blocks away, and in the Bronx when I came to this country in 1972. And this site was for sale and came to my attention that I went there. It's a gas station for long time, since 1940 something. And also when I was driving truck, I went there to get gas. And when I saw this site for sale, I began to thinking about Latino community, then I begin to discover something fascinating. There are over 600,000 or 700,000 Latinos in New York City alone, and tri-state area there are 2 million Latinos. Then Washington Heights and Inwood community, there are 275,000 Latinos, most of them. But when I drove around, there was no new building. And then I begin to realize there are professional offices like lawyers' office, doctor's office, even on the ground floor and second floor, there was no Class A office building. That's the idea I got. We got to build Class A office building. Then I Googled that again, 275,000 people. What are the other cities that have 275,000 people? City of Buffalo has a similar population. But in there are over 2,800 hotel rooms. But in this community, only at 106 is way underserved community, and no developer pay attention because it's the community the way we understand. Maybe rightly so. My bank was asking me the same question, say, construction cost is same whether you build in there or you build Midtown, you're going to get better rent in Midtown. Why are you doing up there? But I think that's not correct statement because that community, Latino community, had tremendous energy. People there, they are all very hardworking people. So I decided to build hotel and office complex. And then not only building new structure there, and I invited one of the most famous architects to design the building. And I wanted to create something that become a piazza. It's something that makes community people so proud and making this project become a catalyst project. Because I know when I was developing 57 and 85 10th Avenue, Chelsea Market was a godfather that created meatpacking district and this art district in West Chelsea. And I believe this radio hotel and radio tower is acting very similar way and bringing this whole new hope and energy to the community. It is so many people rising this building is happening in Latino community.
That's awesome. I love what you've done, and you know the story, and it's a little premature to talk about what we're doing, but it's that same sense, bringing a sense of community and a sense of your ownness, oneness, in terms of making people feel good about themselves. For the lack of not having development for 50 plus years can make you feel some type of way. But when you see somebody come in and believe in that community and build something to show that, for me, it's like you're bringing love to the community and they're bringing love to themselves in terms of, hey, somebody sees us, they acknowledge us. I think it's just a beautiful thing. I just want to tell you that.
Thank you.
The radio development, by the way, took 10 years to do. How do you stay excited and keeping your foot on the gas for 10 years before that happens? If you can answer that question, then talk about what you see next.
It's taking more and more time. New York City, typical ground up deal takes about 10 years. I know this. Technology is advancing so fast. And in technology world, they say one generation is only 6 years. And we as a developer trying to build something like this takes more than 7 years. So I says, we got to understand future. It's very difficult to understand future. But I knew if you apply today's lifestyle and idea, by the time we complete the project, it's become an old idea. It's already happening in New York City. So many this B-class, C-class office building is having big issues. So we're going back to 1980s. I always think about three things I should deliver in my project. One is whoever comes to our building, whether it's a tenant or visitor or passing by, I wanted them to feel very special being in our project. Second thing is I wanted them to feel, wow, it's so creative, so innovative idea. And the third thing is experience. Anywhere they turn, they experiencing something new. So that is our input. It's very difficult to predict future. We are not Superman. But if we understand the past, we can understand better going forward. My own thinking is that last 20 years, look at what happened. Apple created this thing so-called everything iPod, iPhone, still around. And I believe Steve Jobs, he was a genius guy, already understood then. Me, myself, I was working about 22 years ago. And he named it everything I. And it was a fascinating thing how he captures young people's mind. And then from there, it became another interesting phenomenon. It's like we work and sharing idea and how do we work with. So we generation came. It's not a phenomenon that has been created. Then after that, everything has to be fast. It's a fast generation came. Everything got to happen yesterday. We sit in front of the computer. When we Google, something doesn't happen right away. That was the generation we had. Now, it's a stranger generation after COVID. It's become easy generation. Everything is easy. When I was young, if I don't work for one day, I thought I'm guilty of something. But today's generation people don't get bothered. Even they get fired, they don't really think it's not a serious thing. This easy generation is interesting. But going forward, I believe singularity generation is coming. AI and all this thing. And so it's a fascinating thing that we experience. And going forward, gonna be more exciting. So in order to understand better, I talk to time trend consultant, then artists. Artists, they always have some very interesting understanding of future. Then IT scientists, because we are into this virtual world. So we try to update ourselves and then we predict what kind of project that we should create. So consistently we're creating interesting projects.
I love it. And the thing I love about you is that you have the ability to come in and see a great site for being a great site. Unfortunately, a lot of our local developers here in Atlanta who may have grown up and thought this side of the railroad tracks is a bad side, so they never see it as a great site. And unfortunately, I think that happens a lot here. Sometimes the locals don't see it for what it is, but you'll get somebody coming in from LA who sees the great site, or somebody coming in from Germany sees the great site, and now coming in from New York seeing a great site. Talk about how you see Atlanta, and then I only have one other question for you after that, but talk about what you do see for this city, kind of the future for the city of Atlanta.
Atlanta has very different energy than New York City. And I think the location is fascinating. The airport that you have, that creating this connectivity, physical connectivity, you can go almost anywhere in United States for 3 or 4 hours. It's a very desirable location. Then another fascinating part about Atlanta is there are a lot of Afro-American white people, a lot of young people moving in. And then when I see I-20 separating south and north, everything almost happening in the north of I-20, but all this energy bubbling by young people, Black people, Asian people moving in there a lot, and then talented people coming into Atlanta. I think it's one of the great cities to pay attention. And then south of I-20, you have so much thing can happen there. And Atlanta, I believe it's only beginning. It's a business friendly. It's a city to know. And when I compare other international city in Atlanta, there's lots of opportunity can import some of the worldwide idea that Atlanta can benefit. And I believe working with you and us, we already starting one project. And I think this project gonna be amazing project. I think it's the most important project that I'm facing. I believe is this powerful location. And like you say, many people don't see it, but I see. And you and I have the same goal, right? It's gonna represent what true Atlanta is about. And so I'm very excited about this project.
Amen. Hey, everybody stay tuned on that. More to come. But before we wrap up with my man, Young Woo, I want to ask, what advice would you give to someone who wants to follow in your footsteps?
Few things you must have to be successful. If you are an intelligent person, you are a blessed person. But if you are a not intelligent person, you gotta have emotional intelligence. The whole world, my experience is not so much about brain. It's all here. And I buy real estate from this. So, yeah. Right?
Not from the head, but from the heart.
Yeah, you gotta feel it. You gotta feel it, and you gotta understand and stand in front of the side. So you gotta have those charisma or intelligence or emotional intelligence. Then I say nothing is free. You gotta work really hard, and then you gotta take risk. A lot of people think safe is good thing. Safe is very risky thing.
Safe is a very risky thing.
Yeah, safe is very risky thing. And then it's a charisma. It's another important thing because people in today's world, just seeing someone far away is already, you can tell what kind of energy that this person has. You got to generate tremendous good energy from your body.
Young Woo, he said to me, Dallas, why do you always say my whole name? I said, I always want to feel like I'm talking to a rapper on the phone, so I say Young Woo. Young Woo, I heard a pastor say years ago, always stay green enough to grow and keep sharper people than yourself around you. I'm so grateful that Jeff introduced us some years ago. You're making me better just by being in your company. I say the same thing about Egbert Perry and the three of us together. I'm excited about what's about to come to this city. You've been listening to my guest, Young Woo, today on In the Black. And I just want to say thank you for being here, my friend. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, I'm really grateful to get to know you. And you are simply an amazing person.
And that wraps up this episode of In the Black. I hope you enjoyed the show. And if you did, be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any new episodes. If you have time, we would really appreciate if you will leave us a review so other folks can find us. Thanks for listening. Have a great day, and I pray that you stay in the black.
This has been In the Black with T. Dallas Smith. To find out how you can change the dominant narrative in the commercial real estate industry and challenge the status quo to improve the lives of others, go to tdsintheblack.com. In the Black with T. Dallas Smith is a production of Forbes Books.